محمدا عبد الله ورسوله الذي بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة وكشف للأمة وجاهد في سبيل الله حق جهاده وتركنا على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك. اللهم صل وسلم على هذا النبي الحبيب محمد وعلى آله وصحابته ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد فيا عباد الله إني أحبكم في الله وأوصيكم ونفسي أولا بتقوى الله ومن يتق الله يجعل له مخرجا ويرزقه من حيث لا يحتسب. عباد الله قال الله تعالى في محكم كتاب العزيز أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا صدق الله العظيم. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, because of people who are logging in online and watching for this live broadcast on Facebook. As we know that in the last almost 10-15 days, we went through an extremely difficult period because of what was happening in Palestine. Yesterday, we heard that the ceasefire has been announced. But even after the ceasefire, there has been grenade attacks at Masjid al-Aqsa. In the end of these 6 days of onslaught, aggression, 243 people have been killed among the Palestinians. Among them, 66 are children. 66 children. 1,620 people have been wounded. Countless people have become homeless. We know that we saw on video 33, a residential building was collapsed. It was brought to the ground because of a shell attack. And then again, a lot of damage to the infrastructure. If you may remember, 10 or 15 years ago, a similar attack would happen in Gaza. Whatever was made into rubble, it was built up. Now again, some infrastructure has been demolished. If you look at the official news outlets, it says that only 12 people and 2 children were killed in Israel. Some people did not even get that news. But actual sources, inside sources, and some media outlets operating within the Gaza, they say that 70% of the rockets fired by Hamas fell into Israel. That is close to 3,000 rockets. What can that 3,000 rockets do? 97 people have been killed in Israel, 3,000 wounded, several buildings destroyed, and to their Iron Dome is almost about $210 million loss. This may come as a surprise to many people. Obviously so, because most of the time what gets transmitted, what gets broadcasted is how weak, how pathetic, how feeble the Palestinians are. All the videos we show is of what is children getting killed, blood and destruction and mayhem. Obviously, Israeli apartheid regime doesn't want to show their destruction to the world. They say that this is one of the strongest army in the world. How can they accept? How can they admit defeat? Now, if you compare to the Palestinians, the Gaza, Israel is developed country. So any rockets firing into Israel is going to cause more damage than it is a shell attacking Palestine. Simple. The financial loss will be more higher in the Israeli side than on the Palestinian side. You know that in the previous khutbah also I mentioned the house of poverty between those two areas. This apartheid, clear apartheid. Now, At the same time, Israel is announcing ceasefire, shows that there has been a loss from their side. Why would a country, a powerful army, declare ceasefire against a weak group of quote unquote terrorists? Why would the world leaders will come to intervene and try to put a stop? There has been damages. This is what the world cannot see. This is what we don't hear. Dear brothers and sisters, Islam in this khutbah is not my purpose, is to glorify one side over the other. The reason is in modern warfare, regardless of who wins, everybody suffers. It's not like in the past where only a group of people will go with the swords and the arrows and then fight and come back. Now, when something happens in any part of the world, it can be seen by everyone. The mental health, the physical trauma people go through by looking at that, and the spiritual weakness they feel, and the effect it will have on the world economy, bilateral relationships, international relationships, is immeasurable. So nobody wants to have war, whether it's a Muslim country or a not-Muslim country. Why, alhamdulillah, we are happy, we are pleased to live in this country because it's a peaceful country. We know what peace can do to us. We know how it can improve the quality of our life. We know how it can make us productive individuals who will give back to the community. Think about a child living in this kind of war-like situation. Through that child develops resiliency, endurance, but still that child will lose his childhood. He cannot play like our children or your children are playing. Children in Palestine cannot play. Children in Israel who are being bombed, they cannot play either. Fear, anxiety, trauma is true for everybody. As Muslims, we should not justify one or the other. So the purpose of this khutbah is, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, to mention something important about our own role. What is our role? To rejoice when Palestinian attacks the Israel, or to become angry and hatred when Israel shells Palestine? Is it all what we can do? Is it all what we do is that throughout the day forward videos and postings and messages about what's happening in Palestine? Social media posts. It's the easiest thing to do, everybody. Is that all? Is that our work is done? Then everything is gone, ceasefire is gone. Now we are back to our normal life. There's nothing to be worried about. Suddenly we become quickly 10-day activists or 15-day activists. And we forget everything. Dear brothers and sisters, Islam, as I said in the beginning, Canada is a peaceful country. Canada has ratified several United Nations conventions against torture, against human rights, violation of human rights, against attacks on innocent civilians. There's many United Nations conventions. This is our country. What is our role to help our country uphold those promises it's made to the international community? That is the question we have to ask. For the first time in history, we know that this is not the first time Gaza was attacked. Every time Gaza was attacked, all what we hear from our government as well as the United Nations government is that Hamas should stop bombing Israel. Hamas should stop sending rockets, or they started it. Every time you go back in history for 10, 15, 20 years, this is the only statement that always comes from the statesman. Except something is different this time. What is that? The difference is, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Canada, our Prime Minister issued a statement for the very first time saying that what Israel is doing is also wrong. Our MPs put out statement publicly. Liberal MPs put out statement publicly saying that what is happening is appalling. They should stop. They should not evict people from Sheikh Jarrah. They should not attack the third holiest place in the Muslims' mind. Why did that happen? Not only that, in DP, they started a huge campaign to pressurize the government to stop the arms sales to Israel, to give funding to Israel. Omar al-Ghabra, for him, he received thousands of letters from the community members asking that stop the buying drones from Israel so that you are giving money to them. Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio, they are submitting a petition to stop 700 billion fund aid going to Israel. Why is happening? The narrative has been shifting. It's because, dear brothers and sisters, Islam, for the very first time, although it has been seen before too, this time, there's no longer the Palestinian issue seen as a Muslim issue. It's not been seen as an Arab issue, like some Muslims like to think. Rather, it is seen as a human rights issue. It's seen as an apartheid issue, just like what happened in South Africa. It's seen as a gross violation of human dignity. Advocates all around the world, even in Canada, even in Toronto, unions are coming forward. If you went to all these rallies, you couldn't have seen all. It was not only about Muslims. It was not only Muslims who were going on these rallies and demonstrations. Even the Jewish community, as I said, I do a lot of interfaith activities. Jewish community themselves come forward. Such a heightened awareness of what's happening in Palestine. Academics are speaking out. In Memorial University, the medical students have spoken up because one of their professors posted something against Palestinians in social media. They sent a complaint letter. Students sending a complaint letter against the professor for supporting Israeli apartheid regime. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, before I come to the last point, let me remind you of this hadith. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, "La yazalu ta'ifatun min ummati, ظاهرين على الحق, بعدوهم قاهرين, لا يضرهم من خذلهم, حتى يأتيهم أمر الله وهم كذلك. قالوا يا رسول الله وأين هم؟ قال بالبيت المقدس وأكناف بيت المقدس." Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, there will always be a group from my ummah upon the truth, established, firm upon the truth. Their enemies cannot do anything with them. Their enemies cannot do away with them. Do away with them. Other people's betrayal will not affect them either. Whether the entire world betrays them, whether the entire Arab world not talking anything about Palestine is not going to affect that group. And even everybody turns their back, they will always be firm on the truth. Their resistance by their existence, by the virtue of staying and living in that area. Sahaba says, Ya Rasulullah, who are these people? Rasulullah said, they are the people, community who are living in Baitul Maqdis and in the vicinity of Baitul Maqdis. Hey, brothers and sisters, Islam, I always ask this one question. If there's a small bomb in Toronto, downtown, how many of us will go to that area? You won't go. We'll post messages to everybody, please don't even step foot on that direction. We'll warn our children, we'll call all our loved ones, come on back. Something is happening. Forget about the bomb. There's a small shooting last week in the neighborhood. Dear brothers and sisters, Islam, every time a Palestinian go out to Masjid al-Aqsa to pray, they know that they have no guarantee they are going to come back. The mothers know the children may not come back. Fathers know their sons will not come back. Wives will know their husbands may not come back. Still, has it stopped a single Palestinian from praying in Masjid al-Aqsa? This is what the hadith is about. By being there, Allah has kept that community there. Allah hasn't kept a weak community. That will continue. That victory will come. Despite the oppression and the failures, Allah has a plan for that place. That place is guaranteed success, guaranteed to thrive. So people who are asking, what can we do? We can't go and ask Israel to stop bombing. Whatever we do, they will continue. It's a very apathic attitude. Or, it's about them. It's not about us. Dear brothers and sisters, today, the purpose of this is what is your role in influencing the Canadian foreign policy? What we have done. While the NDP led the way, while the Liberals were forced and pressurized to issue a statement for the very first time, how that happened is because people like you and me sending thousands and thousands of letters, petitions to the government, to their MPs. We don't have to sit and write letters, dear brothers and sisters. Everything has been prepared. All what we have to do is put our name and the address, automatically pop up. Who is it you are going to send it to? Prime Minister is receiving thousands of emails and letters every day. I would say every hour. There are advocacy organizations who are leading this effort. All what we have to do is we have to put our name there so that the quantity gets increased. I'll give one quick example. One of the MPs in the West End, last year, before COVID, I met with her to talk about the issue in Sri Lanka for advocacy. She asked very interesting questions. She said, Imam, I receive about 5,000 emails a day. In that 5,000 emails, she was teaching our group how to do advocacy. She said, in that 5,000 emails, if 1,000 people are sending me email on the same subject, who do you think that I will direct my attention to? Definitely the 1,000 people. Instead of 1 or 2 people sending emails, I'm definitely going to ignore, because my constituents are talking about that 1,000 people are talking about the same subject. I definitely can't ignore. If I ignore, I'm losing 1,000 votes. That's my currency. For the politician, that is their currency. So the question is, it's very sad to see in this area, in this community, in this neighborhood, in this riding, MP hasn't spoken a single word. I know this is public. I'm going on public, on the record. Nathaniel Erskine Smith has not spoken a single word about this. This is the majority Muslim community. People are being elected from our own votes. Why? He has no incentive to talk because we haven't spoken. We haven't asked him to talk. We haven't sent a single letter to Minister, this MP in this riding. So why would he speak? Why is that Salma Zahid and Iqra Khalid and all the other MPs, yesterday, 20 or 25 MPs together wrote a letter to the Prime Minister. About 8 civil society organizations together wrote something. Another quick example, TDSB and the Catholic District School Board and the Peel District School Board, every time there is any issue worldwide, they will always put out a statement saying that children's mental health, take care of mental health. They will send a letter to their parents because they are seeing these horrific images from videos and photo, TVs and online. So look after them. If they need to talk to us, they can come back to us. Even recently, the recent statement is about what's happening in India, the COVID-19 situation. So that kind of caring, school board hasn't sent out a single statement yet about the Palestinian issue. It's not about the Muslim issue and Arab issue, don't get me wrong. It's about how, as Canadians, we are being affected. It's not a global issue, this is a local issue. So again, there is a letter going out every day, people are signing, sending it to TDSB. Send out a statement because you care about children now too. It's no different from any other war, any other situation. What is our role? How many people of this community wrote that letter, signed that letter? Dear brothers in Islam, in sisters in Islam, I'm asking from Danforth Islamic Center and all the other masajid in this area to take the leadership on this. To encourage the community, send out the link, organize events to talk about the issue, to educate the community. In this community, many people have no education whatsoever about what's happening in Palestine because we have become so insular, so selfish. We are only happy about our own life. It doesn't work that way. If we don't speak out for others, nobody will be there to speak for us. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, let me end this with this final statement. Nobody is free until everybody is free. Everybody cannot be free until every single person in that community is free. This is what Islam. Rasulullah said, a person who is eating, tummy full, while his neighbor is hungry, is not a true mu'min. Look at that. Nobody can be fully nourished until everybody is nourished. This is the statement. This is a profound principle Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is teaching us. Think about others. Similarly, world peace, the entire world cannot achieve peace until Palestine achieves their peace. How? How? We are talking about peace, we are talking about apartheid, we are talking about human rights, when in the center of this world, every day, a community is oppressed. If there's no peace there, how can anywhere be peace? Palestinian issue has been affecting many world policies, foreign policies, countries. Allah is going to ask, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, what did you do? What did we do? This is the center of our universe because of Masjid al-Aqsa. If they are protecting Masjid al-Aqsa with their life, their blood, with their wealth, what did we do to at least show our support? 1 letter, 2 minutes, minimum to maximum 2 minutes. I wrote the letter. I wrote the MP2. He must be wondering, there's only 1 letter comes from this community. Why? May Allah bless us. So I urge Danforth Islamic Center to take a leadership of this. To organize an event, invite everybody, write a letter writing campaign. Together, write everybody. Ask your children to write, ask your families to write. The quantity is important in advocacy. They have to receive more letters. Then they will issue. I'm not saying this is going to make any change, but still you would have done your duty. This is all Allah is asking. Allah is saying, you put the effort, results I will look after. Oh, come on, my letter is what going to do? What's going to do that my letter is going to do? No. Allah is asking, you put the effort, result is in my hand. I will create the results. When I create the results, your name will be written as somebody who supported us, who supported my masjid. The place where in Mahshar everybody will go towards. The place where Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam led the entire prophets on the night of Isra. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارك الله لنا ولكم العظيم ونفعنا بالله وذكر الحكيم انه تعالى جواد كريم الملك العظيم. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil mursalin Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsan ila yawmiddin. Amma ba'd, fa ibadallah, qala ta'ala huwa asdaqul qailin wa idha quri'a al-Qur'an fastami'u lahu wa ansitu la'allakum turhamun. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Subhanalladhi asra bi 'abdihi laylan min al-masjidil haram ila al-masjidil aqsa alladhi barakna hawlahu linuriyahu min ayatina. Sadaqallahul azim. عباد الله إن الله تعالى أمركم أمرا جازما وبدأ بنفسه تعظيما وثنى بالملائكة المسبحات لقدسه تقريما وقال جل جلاله عظيما يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم على رسولك الحبيب محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم أجرنا من النار، اللهم أجرنا من النار، اللهم أجرنا من النار. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم اقسم لنا من خشيتك ما تحول به بيننا وبين معاصيك، ومن طاعتك ما تبلغنا به جنتك، ومن اليقين ما تهون به علينا مصائب الدنيا. اللهم متعنا بأبصارنا واسماعنا وقواتنا أبدا ما أحييتنا، واجعله الوارث منا، واجعل ثأرنا على من ظلمنا، وانصرنا على من عادانا، ولا تجعل مصيبتنا في ديننا، ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا، ولا تسلط علينا بذنوبنا من لا يخافك ولا يرحمنا. عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله العظيم الجلال الجليل الجبار يذكركم ودعوه يستجب لكم، ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. أقيموا الصلاة.